Hello, my friends. How are you today? Happy hump day. My name is Natasha, and I'm so excited to be here today to chat with you guys. I just got home from the gym, and then because my day was super crazy, I did not get any of my steps done, so I just had to do my running, which has been a while since I've had to do that post-gym. Yeah, but I got it done, so I'm done with my steps, and now I can sit back, relax, and chit chat with you. And so I was thinking today, like when I travel, it really does throw a monkey wrench in my life. And then plus I had all these new exciting projects that were on a timeline this week. So that threw in extra, things that I had to do. And I just felt so exhausted today. But yet my son this morning, because he has this way to bypass my phone. I don't know what we did. We put all the same settings into everybody else's phone, but his will ding no matter what. And it's on the fullest thing. So it scares me out of my sleep. What's going on, And it's just ding. And then the first one is I'm kind of what happened? And then the second one goes off and I'm I get this panic in me. And so I was deep in a sleep, I was deep in a dream, and I was so frustrated because I was it was again one of those times last night. I'm yes, 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 I literally was jumping on my bed yes, 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 I get to sleep in tomorrow. I was that excited. And it wasn't even tomorrow, it was today, because it was past 2:00 when I was doing my jumpy dance on my bed. My other son had came in and he was talking with me, and no matter how tired I am, most times, sometimes I'll be okay, I gotta go. But anytime they want to talk to me, again, I'm a talker, so I'm okay, I'm game, but I don't know. It was just interesting. And it was funny because we were having a similar vibe. He's I don't know. I just kind of feel sad. And I was yeah, me too. I don't, I don't know what's going on. It's nothing was bad or nothing was wrong. It was just kind of this sad kind of I don't know. I was feeling that last night before bed. I don't get that insecure that often anymore, but I was feeling a dose of a little bit of insecurity. And you know how it's not regret, but it's oh my gosh, when you have more time to think sometimes, you can see the answers better, and you have an answer. Sometimes in the moment you just don't always have the answers that you would have liked to come up with, or I don't know. So I was just kind of, not in a way second guessing, but in a way I guess an insecurity, a second guessing. And so it was I don't know, I was just feeling a little bit sad. And I think it also had to do with feeling tired, because again, there's the time change, and that always affects me. But I love it because I even got out of the gym again today, and it was a little bit of a sunset still reminiscent. So I'm yes, driving to the gym, and actually when I walked out to go to the gym, I just felt the sunshine on my body, and I was yes, it was so good. I need you, sun. I don't know, there's something just different about that spring sun. So yeah, but I say all that to say, after the ding went off, my instinct, right? My default setting, my just wanted gut reaction, half asleep, was I'm so annoyed. I was asleep. I did nothing wrong. I should be able to just sleep in one day of my life. And, I'm feeling frustrated and flustered, right? And so I'm thinking in my mind what I'm going to say to him. And it's he's saying he doesn't feel good, right? He doesn't want to not feel good either. I'm getting this, right? But before it wouldn't have. It was just about what is my experience? What am I going through? And so I just kind of ignored it at first, because I really needed to calm down, because I realized I wanted to react with my right hand. I wanted to react with my instinct and my default settings, but that is not who I want to be. That is not who I am working and practicing and learning and doing all these things. I don't want to behave like that. I want to have a great relationship with my child, and I want to feel good. If I would pop off and be well, I'm asleep, I'm going to feel like crap, because I don't want to say these things to him. Again, I say, if I put myself in his shoes, he's not wanting to feel good. And this is a finite amount of time. He's not going to be texting mama at 8:00 before work and hey mom, I don't feel good. Do I have to go to work today? It's on you, boo. What you do then, I am not in control of that. Like, we are, just here to facilitate, to educate you, to teach you morals, to show you these things. And I just was like, he kept texting and I'm like, well, what's going on? I don't know how you feel. And so I'm trying to gauge it, but I was able to do this with like honesty and kindness. And I ended up like starting to still feel flustered with every ding. Like the ding was just irritating me. And I was like, hey, can we have this conversation in person? Can you come in here? And for some reason, just being face to face and not hearing that dang ding and talking to a screen, like, although I'm talking to a screen now, but like just not texting into a screen, like it just alleviated everything. I'm like, so what's going on? Like, what do you think you should do? Like, you have missed a lot of school and, it was a little bit different right now. One of your classes, you usually have all A's, but right now you're not having it because you're kind of missing a lot of school. When you're missing a lot of school, you're missing that instruction, right? And you're not making up for it at home when you're not feeling well, even though you should be. And, and so I kind of like turned it on to him and I was like, well, what do you think? And he kind of stood there and he thought for a few minutes and I was okay with that. And, he was like, well, why don't I try to go to the bathroom, see what happens or whatever. And I said, that's a good idea. All right. You let me know. So he went, cause it was his stomach hurting or whatever. And he was like, I just kind of feel like I'm going to throw up and I don't want to throw up at school. And he went and then he came back in and he was like, okay, I'm still not feeling well, but how about this? Like, I'll stay home, but if I start to feel better, I'll go to school. And I was like, that's a perfect solution. And I was like, just really, try to take your rest because you're going to go back to school tomorrow. And he was like, okay. I was like, I don't want to hear any of these texts and dings or anything, but in the future, just come in instead. Like, I don't know, there's something different about being woken by your child, like it gives me this, like, not like a panic in the same way. And I don't know what it is about the ding in my mind. Like, it's really challenging, but I was so proud of myself. I know that doesn't sound like a lot to a lot of people, but this is the fourth kid. This is my fourth rodeo. And that is not my typical response. It was like, I was asleep and and I'm like, listen, you don't need to know. Like, again, like, what is his experience? And I'm not like saying like, oh, he shouldn't know that, but like, he knows that I was probably sleeping. Like, I don't know. I'm assuming he knows. Like, it's okay. Like, my child needed me. This is my job as his mom. And we worked it out. Again, I'm on a finite timeline. There is no reason to sit here and make him feel even worse when he's feeling bad, right? So, I got to thinking and I was thinking like, God, life is such a practice. Like, everything we do, like if we complain, right? We're practicing complaining and we're just getting better at it. Like, every time we do it. But like, if we're smiling, we are practicing smiling and we're getting better at it every time. Like, if we are giving people compliments, if we are spreading joy, if we are laughing, if we are, working on a project, like every single thing we do, it's practicing these behaviors. And so I feel like I really have to become, and I encourage you to become very conscious of what behaviors are we practicing. Like, if I'm practicing yelling at my kid, then I'm getting really good at that. And that is going to be eventually my default setting. That's my right hand. That's my instinct. And that's what it was. Like, in this such situation, I was feeling pain. Like, I was hurt because I wanted to sleep. Like, it was just emotional pain. It wasn't like I was hurt or hit or, like nothing like that. But I was frustrated. So I was in pain. I was in discomfort. I wasn't pleased. I was scared. My adrenaline was pumping because like I was deep in a sleep with a dream. Then, I had these expectations. They were not met. So like, I was all up in my head, about this. And then I was going to take it on him because why? Because hurt people. And I don't want to hurt people. Like, I have no desire for that. I don't want to feel bad when I go to sleep tonight. I don't want it to eat at me all day long. Like, I would rather just not. And so like, I think about certain people and I think about their actions, and it's the people that are mean for no reason or, have just, a complaint. Like, my son has a coach and he just, said nothing kind to him and positive. It was just like, just really like okay, fine. Okay, great. This is it. But you're my coach. Teach me, give me some constructive feedback if this is the problem. Like, where can I show up better then if you're, feeling this? Like, you just telling me, I'm a mediocre player, or whatever it is he's saying. Okay, well, how do I get better? Like, let's work on a solution together. So it's people like that, like, that are just mean, like, they're that like complain for the sake of complaining, and then take it to the umpteenth degree, like not only I'm gonna complain to your boss, but I'm gonna complain to their boss and their bosses, and I'm gonna go to the head of this thing. Like, okay, fine. Like, what is it? But like, I would much rather have like a direct conversation or have these things. So again, like I'm thinking about, because I feel like everybody I encounter, I learn from, and it could be things that I learn, I admire and I aspire to be like, and I'm like, wow, that is a really cool way of looking at life. That is a unique philosophy. I was just never informed of. I didn't know that was an option, but I really like it. And I would think, I am thinking I would like to integrate that into part of my ethos, part of who I am. And I know it's not easy, right? Like, me choosing this morning was not easy. Me backing up the text of what I really wanted to, but like instinctively was going to write. It's not that easy. It's like, and I'm just so grateful for those moments where I take those dang showers with the daily dose of dysregulation, because I'm dysregulated at that point, right? But in that moment, like I said, when I was feeling flustered in bed, my cozy bed that I was in the middle of a dream, and it was a really good dream, and I just wanted to sleep in, I just backed it up. Like, I just took some breaths, and I was like, what is really going on, And then I got to be like, okay, here's what's going on. And then I was able to problem solve. Okay, like, these dinging texts are like, I'll calm down, but every time it dings, it's bringing all my energy back up again, and I don't want to be in this place. So let's problem solve. What can we try? Let's maybe try having a face-to-face conversation. And by golly gee, it worked, So it's like, it's attempting different ways. It's working on it. It's being conscious of, hey, something is going on in my body. And like I said, for so many years, I wore my high pain tolerance like a badge of honor. And I was like, yeah, I have a high pain tolerance. Anybody can hurt me. Like, I challenge you. Like, I feel nothing. I am a queen over here, and I have no pain, no gain. And, and it is like, I'm grateful because, my high pain tolerance, it protected me sometimes, right? Like, it came in handy. But it also numbed me. It numbed me so much that I have no clue I'm learning what is going on in my body. What is it I'm experiencing? And when something is telling me something, if it is my ankle, if it is my hip, what are you trying to tell me? Like, what is it? If it's my heart, if it's my inside, my stomach, like, and not like I ate something bad stomach, but like something is feeling off. Like, what is going on? My blood pressure is getting elevated. I'm starting to sweat. I'm getting hot. I can feel like the blood literally pumping in my body. I'm able to now kind of take it back. And once I do, utilizing those breathing treatments and like those breathing practices, and just calming and quieting everything down as best as you can, because again, you're still in this like, it's not like it's instant, and it's like, oh, it's so easy. Oh, I know what to do. And this just works out perfectly. And I'm just no, it is a friggin' practice. It is trying. It is, again, noticing I was about to use that default hand and type out things that I didn't really care to say. And then saying, listen, over here, let's try an alternative. Let's try it. You always have that option to go back to the right hand and yell and be that person that you were, and you're working really hard to not be like. And that person isn't even bad. Like, no hate on me and no hate on you for the things that you do that you're not so proud of. The thing is it's a learning lesson. And all we do is like, we're sitting here and we don't have like these like devices on us with like biofeedback and all these things. I mean, it'd be great. Hey, who's out there that's like, wants to start a business and is scientific and data science-y and engineering and, but like, wouldn't it, like I say, like with the body, like when I think about my son's ACL injury and I think about my hip, my hip problems and my sciatica, why is it there? Well, because I carried a kid on my hip and I carried a kid on my hip and I carried another kid on my back, and for years of cooking and then just thrusting the hip out one way. This is my like opinion of what happened. And over all that time, I was a nanny for years. I took care of my brother. I took care of my cousins. Like, I was always this motherly figure. And so having this like as a thing, and like carrying kids and doing things, my body naturally started to go this way. It wasn't like somebody said, okay, here is how you properly walk. Here is how you properly hold somebody. No, you just get up and start walking. You see a baby, you just get up and pick them up. Like, there's no instruction. So, we're getting by with how we think we're supposed to be doing everything, how we should be sitting, and like, you think about it, like we're sitting and then all of a sudden you'll notice like we're slumped in, or, like the shoulders aren't back. Like, can you imagine? Like, hello, hi, like I wish, like I actually do sometimes in the car, like, and I got really good at it for a while. I have definitely slacked on that. I'm going to put that on my to-do list. But like, it would literally be like, okay, like, and it felt really good. Like my sciatica seemed to like be improving and liked it. But then you see over time, it just kind of goes back into like that default setting, because we just don't even think about it. Like, how often are you driving in your car, and unless it's hurting, you're not thinking about how you're sitting, right? Like, you're just like, I'm sitting. Okay. I'm thinking about what's on the radio. I'm thinking about not, running a red light. I'm thinking, and even that, a lot of the driving is literally on autopilot. How many times have you like driven somewhere and you're like, how the heck did I get here? Like, I don't remember any of this drive. Like, I remember what I was listening to. I remember the audiobook, but I have no clue. Totally on autopilot. And I don't have autopilot. Like, autopilot was not a thing when my 2007 car was made. So yeah, I say all that to say, like, we really have to be conscious of who we want to be. So I think that that's step one, is like, define what it is. Like, when you see people, and I'm not saying be anybody, because I want you to be you, because you are perfect. You are just an amazing person, and you are exactly the way you're supposed to be. But like, if you want change in your life, if you're like having days where you go to sleep and you're like, I wish I didn't do that. Like, that does not feel good. And then you see people, right? Like, could be on a show. There's so many reality shows nowadays. It could be a show. It could be, in a book. It could be whatever it is, on the street, like in the mall, like, could be anywhere, and you see somebody or you hear a story and you're like, wow, I really wish I could behave like that in that scenario. And like, sometimes you like hear things and you're just like, oh my gosh, you're an absolute saint. Like, how do you do that? Like, how do you have this tenacity? Like, David Goggins, he was one of those people. When I started to hear about him, I actually was watching more of his like YouTube shorts or TikToks or whatever they were, like clips. So they weren't it wasn't the entire book, which was good, but it also had like, is intense, and it had some graphic stuff in the beginning. That I wasn't necessarily prepared for. Because again, like I say, I'm very cautious about the information that I allow into my space, because I am such an emotional person. I am such a, like empathetic person, and I'm so like pliable, because I want to learn, that like I just like, some things I just don't want to learn about. I don't want to know that the bad stuff in the world exists, and I know it does. Like, I'm not like a like over here, and I know enough to like be cautious, right? Like, to be aware of my surroundings, to protect myself and my family. Like, yes, I know those things. I know there are possibilities, but I choose to not like live in this space and place. Like, hopefully I never have to like encounter or deal with anything like in those realms. But if I do, I know how to, but I just choose not. Like, I don't like watching horror films or, like really psychological thrillers. Like, I used to love those things. Like, I thought they were great, but I understand now, like my body, for me, it gives me anxiety. For me, it gives me nightmares instead of good dreams. Like, for me, it gives me this worry. So I'm like, I just don't have the time or energy. Like, if nothing good and positive is coming out of it, I just choose not. There's too many good and positive things to experience in this world for me to fill it in with that, because and I know it's entertainment, and some people like, bless your heart, like, if you love it, go, enjoy. Like, there are some wonderful people like that love it, and there's absolutely no judgment. It just doesn't work for me personally, and that's what's cool cool about life. There's something for everybody. The stuff I listen to, you may be like, this is absolutely boring. Like, I have zero desire. Cool. There's more of it for me. Like, it doesn't matter. But, you know, on the subject of energy, so I was just feeling so tired today. Like, I just couldn't get it together. I had like a dull headache even. And I just was like really balancing like what I had to do and trying to think like what I should be doing. Again, it was like, get up, get some steps done. So that, you know, at the end of the night, I can just go and relax, because this is the one that it's a quick turnaround from Thursday night to Wednesday night to Thursday morning. It's a quick turnaround. So it's like, there's not a whole lot of time for my body to recover. But thankfully Thursday mornings, I have my little hype crew. So like what I can't give physically, they give to me with their energy. And I'm like, okay, like it helps me push that extra mile. And again, like I'm now content being in the back of the class for that one. So I'm super happy. And this today, my sweetest friend, I love her. She is such a doll. And she had my little mat set up, which was so nice because there was like an accident on the freeway and I was like later than I typically was. And I had a meeting with Dylan. He really wants to do something and pursue his dreams, and, you know, that would take him out of this country. And, you know, as a person who's like, go for your dreams, like you only live once, and, you know, don't believe the naysayers. Like, as that person, I'm like, heck yeah, go do that. Like, if I was him, I'd want to do it. But also as his mom, I'm like, no, I don't want him to go, right? And so, you know, the easy answer is to be like, I'm not paying for that. Like, I'm not supporting you. And not that easy, the easy for me, right? Like the answer that gives me the least amount of pain in it, so it seems. But again, this is your child, right? And you want the best. Like you want them to, at least, like, you don't know what the outcome is. Like, there are risks in everything we do. You know, it's not about the guaranteed result. It's about the process. And like, if like anything this year has proven to me is he's probably not ready to go into more school. Like, he can barely handle having to go the 20 days that he's got to go. And he's, you know, it's so why am I going to force him to do what I think he should do? And even still, like I said, now knowing the things I know, and him being fortunate enough to be my third child, like, I just don't think all paths need to be the same. And I think that we've done this injustice to our kids, especially here in the United States, where in competitive areas, like, we live in an area with very competitive schools and very intelligent students and very intelligent parents. And, you know, we have all been conditioned to say, like, you get up, you go to school, you then, you know, do this every day. You know, you're teaching me how to be an obedient person, right? I do what I'm supposed to. I then get rewarded with good grades. And then my parents are happy. And then I get, you know, apply to colleges and I get accepted to great schools. And then I'm going to have this great job. And then I'm going to have a great wife and husband and life and partner or whatever it is. And then we're going to have those 2.5 kids, and we're gonna have a dog, and we're gonna have a white picket fence, and everything is just gonna be great. We're gonna drive our Tesla, and, you know, but that isn't it. I just don't, I now know this isn't it. And there isn't a guarantee. Like, you can go to great schools and still not have a job. You can go to great schools and still not be happy. You can go to no school and have a killer job and have gone to no school and be the happiest person. Like, it is dictated 1000% on you. And so, you know, again, he really wants to pursue this, and who am I to say no? Who am I to say, oh, this is opposite of everything I believe? Like, I believe you should pursue and I believe that this is the time that you should go and take the biggest risks. And what bigger risk is there than going to another country that you don't even speak this language? You know, potentially there's one that does speak English and one that doesn't. But to have this experience with strangers, you have no family on the same continent as you, you know nobody, like, that's a huge risk for an 18-year-old child, right? Like, an adult, I should say. But again, who am I to say no? Like, who am I to say no? Who am I to say this isn't going to work? Like, I don't believe any of those things. Like, I believe if he puts in the work, he puts in the thing, you be consistent, and all the things that he has done that's led him up to this point, there's nothing that wouldn't stop him. He is getting more courageous. He's reaching out to people. He's talking to people. Like, he is learning valuable lessons that were not taught in a classroom. And the biggest classroom, I believe, is life, like, is the world. So in that sense, like, he is in a classroom every single day. Like, the things that he's done this past year, the growth that he has had and I've been able to witness is incredible. So I had a meeting for that. And then I got to the gym, and again, I didn't have any like hesitation, like, was I going to go or not? Like, I wasn't that tired. I was tired, but, and, you know, I did my workout, and it was at the end of after the first workout, I went to go refill my water, and I heard another lady saying, telling somebody to take a class. And I'd never seen that person before. And I was like, oh, have you ever taken this next class? She's like, no, I'm considering it. I'm like, okay, do you like to dance? And she was like, yes. I was like, okay. So this last class we just did, that I consider a workout. That one's fine. It's a workout. But the next one is just absolute fun. It is my favorite class, and it just brings joy. I'm like, just remember, like, it doesn't matter if you've got the moves right or wrong, just have fun. Like, that's your only job. And then she was like, okay, I'll stay then. And so then I passed her again, and I was like, wait, what was your name? And she tells me her name. I tell her mine. And then she was like, okay. So then I had looked over. I don't usually look over in that direction or whatever. And like I said, I don't usually look, but there was a move, and I had to move that way anyways. And so I looked and found her, and I was like, good, she's still here. And I then went at the end of class, I saw her, and so I went over, and she was like, I am so glad I stayed. That was so much fun. Like, I came in having like not that much energy, and after having like the first class, I felt like more energy, but after this one, like, I feel like my spirit has lifted. Like, I feel he was such a fun instructor. Like, the energy in the room, everybody was having a good time. I'm like, yes, like, I really credit like his energy for keeping me motivated, like when I was at the beginning stages and it was touch and go, right? Because I'm now establishing a new habit. Now, you know, like, and I used to panic. Like, I used to think, oh my gosh, like, what would I do if he moved? Like, what would I do if I moved? Like, but now I know I've established my rules. Like, this is my default setting. Like, working out and dancing, that is me now. It took a long time to get there, like a long time, to where now it's a non-negotiable. It's happening. It's going to happen. And the dancing is another thing. Like, I had to miss dancing so much that yesterday I was in my own room making up the dances to my own tunes. Like, I just needed that. I need that release. It's something different and special for me personally. And I know not everybody's a dancer, but this is what it is for me. Yours may be cooking or art or singing or, you know, riding a bike, whatever it is. Like, you find it, you do it. Like, you know what I'm saying, right? Like, it is your thing, and this is my thing. Like, I love it, and I'm not like, it's not my thing as like I'm on like a stage and teaching, or I'm on a stage and performing and being judged. No, like, it is just my thing, and everything doesn't have to be for, you know, a purpose. And, you know, the purpose is to just have fun. It's just to bring me joy, and that's the purpose of it. And so she was like, I love it. And she just had joined the gym last week, and she was hesitant to come, and she's like, I'm so glad. And then I was like, okay, and here are his other classes and everything. And then the instructor actually came up, and he was like, did you have fun? And she was like, yeah. And he was like, is this your first time? And she's like, yes. He's like, oh, good. She's like, yeah. She's like, yeah, she's telling me all the classes of yours. He's like, of course. And I was like, yeah, he's the best, you know. But so again, I made this new friend, and it ends up being, she lives actually out here by me. She just works down there and figured she didn't want to commute, and she was sitting in traffic. So at least this way she could work out and then get home, pretty much the same time and have like this energy. So I have a new friend I made today. And again, what does that do? That sparks so much joy in me, and to be able to share that. And she's like, thank you so much for encouraging me to come. And I was like, absolutely. Like, I will be here every Wednesday, unless, something happens or I'm out of town or whatever. But like, I don't know. I just feel like it's so nice to be welcoming. And I think that like having that experience, like, like when you're insecure and you don't, not necessarily insecure, but you're just like unsure, right? Like I was unsure, and like, where do I stand? Am I standing in somebody's spot? Like, how do they know these, like, that's why I said, just like, honestly, it doesn't matter. Just have fun and move as best as you can. Like, if somebody has time to look at your moves and see if you got it, like, kudos to them, because all I can do is watch the instructor and try to keep up. And I'm pretty good, like, at it now. And still, I don't have time to look at anybody else. Like, so yeah, so I ended up like having that like, fun experience today, and that like gave me new energy. So when I came home, I was like, and between the class and between meeting somebody new and between the kindness my friend shared with me this morning, I was like, or this morning, or when I came, she had my whole mat and my weights and my everything set out for me. Like, life is freaking good. Like, I practice kindness. I practice caring. I do kind things to people, and I'm not doing it to receive anything back, but just by nature, because this is what I'm practicing. This is who I'm showing up as. This is the energy that's coming back to me. This is the frequency I'm vibing at. And it makes such a difference. It makes such a difference to like remove myself from toxicity and negativity and pessimism. Like, it's fine. Like, if that's the way you want to be, continue to practice it, and you will become very, very good at it. It will be your default setting. It will be your right hand. It will come to you so easy if that's what you like. But if you're like, I don't want to be like this anymore, I would like to be more optimistic. Surround yourself with optimism. Surround yourself with optimistic people. Read books about, like, people are writing about it. Like, find the resources and surround yourself. And even if it isn't, like, even if everybody in your family and all of your friends are that way, find other ways. And when I say you're surrounding yourself, that also to me includes the content you're consuming. Like, really immerse yourself in this place where you're around people at that frequency you want to be at. And if you start becoming that energy, you will be that energy. You will be excited. You will see the world as beautiful. Like, you will feel grateful and gratitude if you continue to practice every night, every morning, whatever works for you, every afternoon, sharing good things. So I say all that to say, thank you so much for tuning in to me again today. Like, I can't even believe it. I am so amazed at you. And just really today, think about who you want to become and start practicing it. Like, just start practicing it. And when we're practicing anything, it's hard. It's not easy. And when we're practicing something, we fall down and we stumble. And, think about it like riding a bike. We didn't just pop on a bike, most of us. Like, maybe some of you super athletic people did. I don't know. Like, sometimes we have training wheels, and then we have 2 training wheels, and then we go to 1, and then we have none. And when we have none, we have somebody running behind us and pushing us, and we think that they're there, and you look back and nobody's there, and then you get scared. Like, you got it. You got this. You can do it. It's just you have to define who it is you want to be, who it is you want to show up as. How do you want to be a mother? How do you want to be a sister, a brother, a father, a husband, a wife? Who do you want to show up as? And show up as that. And so I say all that to say thank you again. I really appreciate you. I really can't wait till we have more communication back and forth. Like, that is my jam. So I'm really excited, and I know that that's coming soon. And patience is power. And so everything has its time and its space and its place. I also wanted to say, please go out there today, give somebody a big smile, give them a compliment, and just watch how they glow up. Thank you.